The Coonhound Collective podcast is brought to you by Conkeys Outdoors, because we support the people who support our way of life, and CZ Welding and Fabrication, custom dog boxes built by hunters for hunters. Check these guys out today. All right, guys, I thought this would be appropriate at the beginning of this interview with Judd Koshko that we're going to have today. Just a reminder, Forestdale, Missouri, Friday, May the 20th and May the 21st will be the Trader Inc. Youth Hunt, the Youth Challenge. So go over and check that out at the PKC Youth Hunt page on Facebook. You can get with Chris Freiberger and some of those guys to get any information you need there. You can go back and listen to the earlier podcast that me and Chris done if you want more information there. Just a reminder, Friday, May the 20th and 21st, the Trader Inc. Youth Challenge Hunt in Forestdale, Missouri. Also, coming up in real quick here, in June 15th through the 18th, is the Youth National Championship in Paducah, Kentucky. If you want more information on that, again, you can reach out to Chris Freiberger and some of those guys, and they can get you all the information you need there. And just trying to put reminders out there to let everybody know what's coming up. So June 15th through the 18th, Paducah, Kentucky, the Youth National, the inaugural Youth National Championship. So go check that out. Also, you still have some time for this one, but my buddy Jason Keene sent this over to me and wanted me to get this information out. So August 16th through the 20th, Virginia Youth Classic with a $2,750 total added purse. You can go over to the Virginia Youth Classic Facebook page they created and check out the information there. But it will be a Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday hunt in in 3 different locations. Friday and Saturday will be in Tazewell, Virginia. There's a $50 entry fee on Friday and Saturday, $30 entry fee each other night, and you can go over and check out their poster there, and I'll post it on my Facebook page so you can get all the information you need there. Again, there's August 16th through the 20th, Virginia Youth Classic. And again, I want to thank everyone that's been listening and reaching out since we launched out on our own platform. I really appreciate everyone that's reached out, sent me messages of encouragement. I really do appreciate it. It goes a long way. Also, if you don't mind, head over to Apple and leave us a comment and a review, and head over to Spotify, and they have a place you can leave a review as well. And if you don't mind, go over to the Coonhound Collective Facebook page or the Instagram page and leave us a comment there. Let us know that you're listening. We really would appreciate it. Thank you. This is your host, Jason Snellgrove, and I will be your guide as we journey down the road to pleasure hunt or hitting the long trail to those great comp hunts. This is the Coonhound Collective podcast. Thank you for joining us today on the Coonhound Collective podcast. Today, I'm excited to have Judd Koshko with me. Judd is a youth handler, and he has done quite a bit of winning. And he's going to be joining us via telephone today, so we're going to get him right on the phone. Judd, how's it going?
Good. How's it going?
Hey, man, it's going pretty good. Hey, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're from?
I live in Missouri, obviously. I live up in between Appleton City and Butler, Missouri. And I'm 17, and obviously I coon hunt, so whatever, coon hunt, fish, pretty much anything to do with any of that stuff.
Yeah, well, that's the reason why I wanted to have you on here. You've done quite a bit of winning as a young man in our sport, and we're going to talk about that today. But before we get that far along, why don't you tell us how you got into coon hunting?
I started coon hunting probably right whenever I started walking, honestly. Dad, he had some black dogs, and I always just remember going with him. And then from there, you can almost say fell in love with it, and then got my own stuff, and then that's where it all kind of took off. So it started back with Dad. He was always in it.
Yeah. Yeah, I've spoken with your dad a few times, and he encouraged me to reach out to you, and I'm glad I did for sure. And sounds like both of y'all have had some success in the comp world, and seem like y'all been around coon dogs for a while.
Yep.
What was your like your first hound that was yours?
My first hound that I wouldn't say she was all mine, but it's the dog. She was named Pib, Pain in the Butt. That's the one I called mine. But my first dog, um, actually, I think Jess Dixon gave it to me. It was a Walker dog, and he was always just on me about trying to get out of them black dogs. And Dad, Jess is a big Walker guy, and he always had pups around. I remember him giving me a couple pups. So them were probably my first ones. I didn't make much of them. I was a little too young to be training on one, but I didn't. That's probably I don't even know the names of them, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, I interviewed Jess. That episode just aired this week that we're recording this, and this will probably release here in 2 or 3 weeks. And I interviewed Jess probably about I don't know a month and a half ago, and man, he's really had some success and had some good dogs for sure. And he seemed like he always wanted to help people out. From what I gather, anyway, I didn't know him personally. Do you remember your first comp hunt?
Yeah, I do. It was we hunted out in Nevada, Missouri. It was a UKC hunt. I actually won the first ever competition hunt I'd ever went to. Uh, it was with a dog named Frog. He was out of my dad's old Foggy Man Hoggy dog, and Dad was poking me with a stick, and I was calling against all them older guys, and I ended up winning. It was just a slip, but it all whenever you're I don't know 18 years old, it's something.
Yeah, well, that's that's pretty cool. What do you remember about that cast and how the dog operated? What are some of the details you remember of it?
I don't really remember too much about it. I just remember we get back to club and everybody was all excited for me, my first ever cast I'd been in, and I think I treated a coon or two by myself and won. So
Do you think that getting back to the clubhouse and the the older guys being excited for you to win, do you think that influenced you and to pursue more into the sport?
Oh, I don't know. Probably a little bit. When you're younger, you think more about that stuff. But yeah, I you might say so. It's just kind of how it all went down. Um, I was just into it all the time, and then I win my first hunt, and then I think it just got me hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah, I think that's the deal with all of us for sure. You get that first cast win, and it's just like sets you on fire, and you're ready to do it again. You've had some success in the comp world, handling dogs and maybe some of your own dogs. And I'm going to read through this list, and if I miss something or misspeak somewhere, you can step in and correct me. But I'm going to read through this list real quick, and then let's talk about some of these wins and the cast that they were on. Um, the Missouri CHKC state champion, CHKC overall youth leader, the 2020 Kansas Youth State overall champion, the 2020 Oklahoma overall youth champion, the 2020 Quapaw, Oklahoma 5,000 Pro Classic, the 2019 and 2021 Missouri State youth leader, reserve state youth champion for PKC in Oklahoma, the 2021 Youth National Champion, the 2021 Youth Reserve World Champion, and then you've had many Final Fours at the Bear Creek Classic, many Final Fours at Legacies, some truck tickets, 2012 Black and Tan Days Overall Youth Champion, 2015 Youth National Show Bench Champion, the Reserve World Champion, and National Champion. Um, Man, this list is impressive. I mean, there's grown men that strive to win some of this stuff, and you've done some of the winning with the big boys as a youth, and you've definitely been in the winner circle as a youth in some of these youth events. Um, so you were the 2021 Youth Nationals champion, right?
Yep, yep.
So let's talk about that. Tell us about the dog that you hunted in that and what it was like to win that.
Yeah, I tell you what, I wasn't even gonna go to that hunt. So we were doing some stuff around here on the farm, and we were baling some hay, and oh, I wasn't even gonna go. I don't hunt much UKC stuff, and but I ended up someone said, "Hey, let's go, come on." I got talked into it. I was like, "Whatever. If I don't win the first night, I ain't going back." Because if you didn't double up, you'd have a high score. So I took Mabel, which Matt had just brought me Mabel. Her full name's maybe it's Maybelline, and I went down there first night, and that first night I drew a buddy from around home. I kind of schooled him on some stuff. I wouldn't say just out handle him. I just used some rules to my advantage, and I ended up treeing. I just treed one coon to his one, but the way it all worked out, that cast, we were so split up the whole time. We had a lot of walking to do, and I was able to use that timeout rule and be able to get cut back loose and get another coon tree to move on and beat him. But that's the first night, and so I knew I had to go back the second night because it's a 2-night event, and then if you get in, you're in the final for the cast on. It had been Saturday night, so I went back down there on Saturday, and I actually drew another buddy I had at the time, and right out of the truck, Mabel treated coon 80 yards out of the truck. I mean, you always feel better when you're first one on and you get to cut back loose while the other dogs are still running. And we treed in that cast, I think we treed 3 coons, but what really helped me on that, Mabel never got treed again the rest of that hunt, and Wyatt Cook's dog, he treated coon, and then he treated circle tree, and then he cut that dog back loose, and my dog, she's in there hitting around, banging and beating around, but I know she ain't right. I'm not going to tree her on it. And his dog trees another coon, really. But we found that coon with 8 minutes and 4 seconds gone on the shine time. So the judge plussed that coon up to beat me, and I questioned that call because after the 8 minutes, you cannot plus anything. If you do not see a coon, you can't plus that. It has to be circled. You have to see that coon within that 8 minutes. Well, he thought he'd won the whole time. Going back clubhouse, he felt good, and I said I knew I had it. I knew I had the question beat. But we went back to the there in Miami, and if a question went his way, he wins. If it goes my way, I win. We get back there, and the master of hounds, I forget who it was, but he was sitting there scratching his head. It sucks. It sucks. But then Trevor, I think he's a UKC representative over everybody. And he was looking at that match. He's like, Judd's right. He has to, that call gets overturned and that goes in as a circle or minus or whatever it was. But that's what ended up getting my 2 cast wins to move on to that final 4 of that national championship. And then we go back out. We go back over to I got some hunting over around Kansas and some big pecans. And I'd been hunting them a little bit. So I knew my dog was going to, it's in the terrain. I'd been driving over there, and we cut loose. Tyler Compton guided us to a big, wide open pecan grove in Oklahoma. Some of the best hunting you're going to get around. And in UKC, the rule is you get a warning strike if you strike the wrong dog. So first dog struck, I knew I had to have first and first. I struck that dog. I think it was Mabel, but I wasn't even sure, Them other dogs, actually, a buddy of mine, his daughter was hunting in the final 4 with me, and I'd been around that black dog quite a bit, and it treated a slick tree, and I'm sitting here watching Mabel on my Garmin. She's 0.9, 1.2, 1.3. She was just getting out of the country. I'm like, I ain't never going to hear this dog again. And actually, Cooper Watley, he treated his dog in the middle of a duck lake, and he had a coon up a bush. So I'm sitting there scratching my head. So we walked back to where we last heard Mabel, and there's 9 minutes left in that hunt, in that final 4 cast, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I got Mabel treat on my Garmin at 1.5, and I'm sitting there, and James Jones says, Judd's that Mabel? I said, yeah, that's Mabel. I said, tree her through there. Now, all them kids, they just drop their heads. So we walk it. That's probably the longest. I'm just sitting there shaking. And we get there and we shine 7 minutes of that tree, and I can't find it. This tree's not even 4 inches in diameter. I'm like, oh my gosh, I just lost this. And he steps around that other side and there's a coon. It ain't even looking. It's midsummer and it's all bushed out, limbs, whatever. And the coon does not look. I'm blowing. I'm a squaller, everything. I hit it with the white light, and there that coon sat, not even 6 foot up in that tree. So, and then by the time we got there and scored the tree, it was all done. And we went back to the club, and they gave me all my awards, and they did some videos and stuff. So that was for sure pretty cool because I wasn't even gonna go. So some people just talked me into it.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome, and that's sounds like some exciting cast there for sure, with some different calls and decisions being made there. Man, on this list, you've won some state championships in different registries and in different states and with different dogs. Talk about what you do to get ready for hunting some of these bigger hunts as a youth. And maybe there's somebody out there that's just getting into coon hunting, that's a younger guy or gal out there that's really wanting to get into comp hunting. What do they need to do to prepare themselves as far as rules, going to hunts, etc.? Hey guys, this is Jason over at the Coonhound Collective podcast. I'm here today to tell you about one of our sponsors, Conkey's Outdoors. Whether you need a few dog collars or the whole setup, they can fix you up. They have a wide range of products from hound hunting to fishing. My friends over at Conkey's Outdoors can help you out. You can order online at conkeys.outdoors.com. Call them at 904-692-1568, 904-692-1568, or if you're in the Hastings, Florida area, go by and see them. Again, that's at conkeys.outdoors.com, because we support people who support our way of life.
Yeah, for sure. I've won a couple different state championships with I think 3 or 4 different dogs, but the dog that I had all the time, would have been the Maggie. It was reason to go full throttle, and that dog I had to keep her hunted up 5 nights a week, and I was like 14. All I had to do was coon hunt. And it's hard going to school and stuff when you got a dog that takes that much to stay in shape, well, stay in tune. And you just got to know your dogs when you go to them. A lot of them kids, you'll show up, they don't know the dog, they don't know the rules. They're just there because their dad wants them to be there. You got to want to do it. You got to want to win. You just got to get them dogs ready. You got to hunt them by themselves. You got to treat them like your best friend. They got to know you. They want to work to please you. They don't want to get whooped up on all the time, get corrections 24/7. But I don't hunt the hardest out of anyone, but whenever I go out there, I just make sure whatever I'm doing it right and not messing them dogs up to try to go win them hunts. And it's a lot easier when you got buddies to hunt with around the house. It's no fun hunting by yourself. It turns into a job, and you don't want to be doing your job at 2, 3 in the morning. You want to be having fun. So I think just having some people around you that love doing it too, that's what helps me a lot. Like, I won't want to go hunting, and I'll have a buddy text me, hey, you want to do something? Yeah, let's go hunting. And you get out there and you're glad you went. But it takes a little bit to get yourself out of the house, especially with school and everything. It's hard sometimes. So school and work, you just got to work around it and hunt when you can. And then on the weekends, you got to make time for them hunts to go to. You can't just put them off. Like, I haven't. No, I'd say the last 4 or 5 months I haven't been to a hunt that much. I've been pretty busy, a lot of stuff going on, but my dogs are sitting here. I wouldn't say they're tuned up, but they could go win. I think pretty much not anywhere, but some of the smaller hunts right now, I could probably go win a couple casts, or it's just kind of how everything falls through on them deals.
Yeah, and I really believe there you said a couple of things that are probably wisdom beyond your years, probably beyond whatever you even realize. Is number one, you got to have fun. If you're not having fun, it's going to get miserable really quick. And number two, when you're out there, the quality time out there in the woods with the dog, not maybe not so much every night a week, but the 2, 3, 4 nights that you're out there during the week, that it's quality time. You're putting in quality exercises with those hounds. while you're out there. And I think that's very important, not just for youth, but for anybody that's wanting a competition hunt. You got to put the right time in.
Yeah, that's for sure. And you just got to do things the right way, act like you're in a hunt, and play off circumstances that would be going on. Try to hunt for 2 hours and then be done, because you ain't going to go to a hunt and hunt 3, 4 hours. You know what I mean? Now, what I'll do sometimes, hunt 2, 3 hours, and I'll go have some fun with some buddies or whatever, do whatever. And then on the way home from wherever we're at, I might cut a dog loose, act like we're in the late round, just make a couple drops. Them drops that are 2, 3 in the morning, a lot of people don't even focus on that stuff. They just hunt, go hunt from 9 to 12. You can't just do that. You gotta go hunting. And to say you want to make it to that late round, but if you make it to that late round, you'll have a better chance if you just hunt from 2 to 3, 4 in the morning. That's when them late rounds could be, just depending on everything, how it goes back. If you got to drive farther in these bigger hunts and go longer ways, you won't get cut loose till 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. So if you hunt later, you want to hunt both, but you just don't want to hunt like it's fun hunting all night sometimes, but that's hard on a dog. You want to space it out like you're in a hunt. You just don't want to go hunting.
Yeah, and I know what you're saying there. I've kind of done the same thing. Actually, last night I have an older dog that I'm pushing a little bit to try to get her finished out before she has some puppies, and she just hadn't been given the chance in the past to be comp hunted much, and she just a couple wins shy of being a night champion. And I took her right at dark. I come back to the house, I put her in the kennel, I get some different dogs out, I take them out, and I come back to the house, put them in the kennel, and grab her back out, and take her out, and made a last drop like at 1:30, just like if I was in a doubleheader or something. And I think that is important to, if you're looking at hunting something like that, to prepare your dog that way too.
Yeah, for sure.
On the 2020 Quapaw, Oklahoma 5000 Pro Classic, was that a youth event or was that just a regular Pro Classic?
That was a regular pro class. It was a $1,500 pro classic that I went to.
Let's talk about that for a minute. As a youth going now, granted, I know you've been in quite a few comp hunts up to this point. This is 2020, so you've been in quite a few comp hunts. But was there any intimidation going into something like that with older people being around? And what was there anything that you done to prepare yourself differently for something like that rather than going to a youth event?
Oh, yeah, I did. I was hunting Maggie at that time. Cole McVeigh Thunderbird is what that's all about, Thunderbird. And so and he said, "Hey, I'm gonna send you this hunt." And I said, "Okay." And he said, "She ready?" I said, "She will be." He texted me about a week before, and so that week before, I don't know, I just turned 16. I hunted. I mean, I just flat out hunted hard. When you go to those, you want to win. You're up against the best of the best when you're paying big money. So I can tell you every bit of that cast and who I drew. Definitely, they know the rules better than I do. I want to think I know them pretty good, but I drew Ryan Krausen, and he was hunting Venus, so I knew I had my hands full. And then I had Spice Girl and Nathan Guthrie. That's tough right there. And then I had Money's Rain Dance and Zach Burden, and that was fun. I mean, when you get in them hunts, there's no arguing, no nothing. Everybody's out there to have fun, but you want to win. So they're all out there for the same reason. They aren't trying to, they're going to do what they do. You call and strike your dog. That's pretty much all you do in them, because you're hunting against coon dogs. I mean, there's no slouches, But in that hunt, we cut them dogs loose, and I struck for 50 on that, and Venus struck for 100, and Spice Girl struck for 75, and actually Spice covered Venus on that, which Nathan was shocked. I'm pretty sure everybody else in the cast was shocked. And Venus had a coon for 100 and 100 2 minutes into the hunt, and but she was leash locked. Everything else was treed in. I had treed in, and Rain Dance was treed in, and so that we had to walk to mine, and then Rain Dance, and Venus had a coon, I had a coon, and Rain had a circle tree, and we cut them dogs off that. And Maggie got in there. She treated another one about 900. I treated her in like 12 minutes after that recut, and she had that one. And then we ended up calling timeout, really, is what really saved me. Them dogs were getting close to an interstate, And when you're hunting them high dollar dogs, you don't want nothing to happen to them. So I think they're about a quarter mile from the interstate, and they got them caught. And actually, before they got them caught, all them 3 dogs got treed again on another coon. So I'm sitting one up on them right now when we go to cut loose in this next spot. We cut them dogs back loose. Venus trees another one, not even 2 minutes after the recut. So she's beating me now. And actually, and then Spice got cut loose too. Well, all of them got cut loose. And Spice was working in there almost a mile, and he treated her. And before we walked to them, I treated Maggie back in, and she just went across a duck lake. And the way I seen that track on that garment, I knew she had him. There was it's just the way she came treed and came on it. And that whole 30 minutes, I'm sitting there. I'm just sitting at that tree hoping she has that coon. They get back, and I think Venus was treed in, but if she got treed, she couldn't beat me, because if I had the coon, she couldn't beat me. If she had the coon, if I didn't have a coon and she had a coon, she beat me. So Ryan trees her, of course, and he goes to her. And in that, we started that shine time. I looked for 2 or 3 minutes. It's a big, big, great sycamore tree. You know, I'm like, gosh, dang. It's full-blown leaves. Coons are hard to find, but when they're there, and you're going to, more than likely, you're going to find your coons, if 9 times out of 10, I believe. I'm thinking it's circle, whatever. And I step back there. There's about an opening about 6 inches around, and I'm blowing on my squaller, and he looks at me, just bam, I could see him. I was like, come on, T-John. T-John was judging us, and he's like, congratulations, you got the coon. And I remember that whole walk back truck. I was pumped up. We just won 5,000, you know. That was probably my biggest hunt I've ever been in. Oh, it is my biggest hunt. So to be able to go and compete with them guys that, you know, do it for a living. I know the Burdens do it for a living, and Nathan, he's somewhere all the time winning something. You know, Spice, I don't know how much her lifetime earnings are, but they're up. I think they're close to around 50,000, and Venus is at 100,000, I think, now. So to be able to beat some of the best dogs, it just makes you feel good when you're a young kid trying to do it by yourself. But I wouldn't be able to go to any of these hunts if Cole and Matt, they really helped me a lot on all this stuff. You know, they make sure I got a good dog, and a few good dogs, really. And we got some high quality pups we got coming up. So hopefully we can take in pups from what I'm got here in the pen and try to make them winners. Say I made them, you know. But without Matt and Cole really backing me up, I wouldn't be able to travel or do any of this stuff I do. For a 17-year-old kid, you can't fit the bill for all that stuff, you know. So that's pretty much the $1,500 entry. That's shoot, a lot of people can't afford that. Go chance $1,500, but when you want to make sure when you go to them, you're tuned up and ready to roll and have a good shot at winning them.
Yeah, for sure. And you definitely didn't pull no slouches on that cast for sure.
No.
You pulled some of the best in the business on that one. Talk about handling dogs for another person. Maybe there's another young person out there that's interested in getting a comp hunting, but don't have a dog good enough. How do you get into that? How do you get into handling dogs for other people?
What I did, I just kind of fell into them, really. I had won some stuff around the house, you know, but where it all kind of came together for me would have been in either, I think in 2019 when I went to the Lone Star. I drew Cole, and I was hunting Maggie. I treated a slick out of the truck, and then I treated 2 coons to follow it. And he said, what do you guys want for that dog? And I told him, and he said, we might work something out, you know. And I didn't know Cole. I didn't know nothing. That's really before they started winning a lot, like you hear Thunderbirds everywhere now. And so Cole, he called me the next day. He said, hey, come over to the house. I said, all right. We're 10 hours from home, and I might be losing one of my favorite dogs ever. And he buys her, and he says, I want to keep her here for a month. I want to see what I got. And I said, I'm going to send her to you, and we're going to go try to win. And I said, that's fine. That's fine. And so I ended up hunting her the rest of the week, and I ended up getting in 1 or 2 nights, I think, in the final 4. I'm not quite sure how that all went down. And then that drive home from Texas was a long drive without coming home with your best friend. You know, it's hard to sell them dogs. And we sold her, and Cole he stays true to his word about everything he says. And I had Maggie at home in 3 weeks, and I was playing baseball, doing whatever, and then you know, he sent me a pup to work on too, and that pup didn't end up turning out like I told him. And I told him wouldn't end up working out, so he took it took it back, and I think got rid of it. But that's where I just kind of fell into it. And Cole, he helps do what if I need help on anything. But you just gotta be respectful of them older guys. You gotta hold your ground and let them know you can handle, but you can't go ask around begging to hunt for somebody. Like I didn't ask Cole to hunt for him. He said, "Hey, we'll work something out. You'll still get your dog back." And so being that, and then I'm a hunter. I hunt these dogs like they're mine. Even though I only got a couple of mine, but I want to treat these dogs like they're mine. When you're hunting for somebody else, you want to, it's they're putting their trust in you to go win and take care of their dogs for them. And so you can't go begging for hunt for somebody at all. Like I've seen some people beg to hunt, not beg to hunt, but ask to hunt. And it's not wrong, but they're gonna feel better when they come ask you. But whenever I didn't have a good caliber dog, I would ask some people like, "Hey, can I hunt your dog?" And they knew I'd won some stuff. I knew what I was doing. They knew their dogs were gonna be safe in my house and whatever. And so I'd go get them dogs a week before, and I had some success with them. Actually, I had a black dog like that. I wasn't hunting for the guy, but I hunted his dog, his good dog, and he let me win with it, and we just worked the deal out. And Aaron Walken had a black and tan, Bad of the Bones champ. I done quite a bit of winning with him. And so I would say he was never always at my house, but Aaron would always meet me, and you got to help people out. And when Aaron couldn't go somewhere, he'd be like, "Hey, can you take him? Whatever, try to win." And I'd win sometimes, but that's just how it goes. And I just kind of fell into it. I can't really say you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying, and you kind of covered there what I was looking for was know your rules, show up at the hunt your dog, and you never know who's watching and what they're looking for. Just like in your situation, your dog went out there, you performed, and Cole wanted to buy your dog. So I mean, you can't ask for more than that, and then you get to keep the dog and handle it anyway. So that's even better. It's a win-win for you, and you can go and participate in some of these bigger events that you might not have got to go and participate in any otherwise.
Yeah, and it's really, I'd say it's put my name out there now that Cole, he's helped me, so now I'll never not have a dog to hunt. I always have someone asking.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Before we move off the hunts and winning, talk about your TOC cast, because you were just at the TOC, correct?
Yeah, that was last weekend, I think.
Yeah.
We went up.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was last weekend. Talk about that.
Yeah, we went up to Bloomfield, and I got a dog, Matt. We had just bought her, and I knew she was a coon terrier. When them dogs that beat you, you want to buy them that beat you consistently. And so we ended up getting this little female bot, and I knew she was a winner. I had hunted against her. I didn't know how she won. She's just a winner. She doesn't just go out there and murder dogs, but we're going to get to that point. Yeah, I haven't had her. I've had her for 2 weeks, and she kind of got down with some. She got a little sick on me this week, so I haven't been able to hunt her at all. But yeah, so I drove up there on a Friday, and I missed school and drove up, and I really didn't even want to be there. Tell you the truth, I did not want to go. It was just one of them deals. I had a bad run of luck the whole way up there. I got a speeding ticket, and then it was just not going my way at all. Got to the hunt. We got to our hotel. We went and you had to check in at 5, and we went and got something to eat. And I drew my cast, and I didn't really know any of the guys the first night. But Crash treated Coon, and the other dogs were all slick. She had that Coon, and then she treated Den, and that was the end of the hunt. So she just moved on barely. Like I said, she just wins, and I don't know how she does it, but she pulled it off. And she's just going to do whatever she can. I don't know. She just comes out of nowhere. So treat another one. Just manufacture it out of nowhere. And so I went the first night. And then the second night, I took a bad break, really, on a hole. I treated in a hole, and all the dogs come in there and Crash left. So I took a 125 pump right out of the truck. And actually, the other dogs, they ended up treating a circle. And we couldn't find a coon in there. And Crash got off by herself and treated Coon, so it put me up. And then I took a bad break on a slick tree. It wasn't a slick tree at all, but it was a tree that went about. It was a big oak tree that had a limb that was probably 12 inches around and went 6 inches from a big sycamore. Well, that coon, he just went up there and went in that sycamore in that hole. So it wasn't touching, but just bad breaks. I'm like, man, I ain't gonna move on. I'm the only single cast winner in this cast, but I kicked Crash back loose, and she knows she's got to do something, and she actually treated another coon for 150, struck for quarter and treated for 100 and a quarter, and had that coon. We called timeout. The other dog ended up treeing a coon, and he took some minus along the way, and I was winning by, I think, 100 plus. We cut them dogs back loose, and that guy, he did what I did in the national championship cast. He struck Crash. He knew he had to have first. And so he struck her, and I couldn't get him minus. I knew it was Crash. And after the hunt, he told me what he did. And I said, I knew what you did. But he struck that dog, and I knew that dog wasn't right when he treated. And Crash came in and treat again. But I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, she treated slick one time tonight. If I tree her on this and she's slick, then I don't move on, because in UKC cast winner, you got to have plus points. So I'm like, gosh, dang, and his dog ended up being in a drain tile. I just could tell by the way it was treeing on that. It was not right at all. And and then I didn't ever tree Crash, but that's probably I should have treated her. She came tree with 40 seconds left in the hunt. I didn't trade her. She was sitting over there with another one. So she's gonna be a nice outfit. She's gonna be real hard to beat. She's gonna be struck for 100 almost every time. But she just got some little stuff we need to work on. So, and then before she can really go compete big.
Yeah, well, I think we're all finding some little something that we can always work on, or at least I don't know. I probably don't hunt the caliper dogs that you're hunting because they're mine, but I always find something that I can work on, to try to make mine a little better. So you won that second cast as well, right?
Yeah, I ended up winning that second cast. That dog ended up being circled up. I had won by 100 plus. So.
Okay, so you're moving on to. Did you make it into the finals of the TOC?
Yep, I'm in the final 96. I think it started out with 1,300. So that moves to Greencastle, Indiana on the 22nd. We're going to see if we can go out there and bring home a little chunk of change.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting for sure. Before we move on, I'm going to take a little break here and hear a word from the people that make this podcast possible for us. So we'll be right back. Hey guys, this is Jason over at the Coonhound Collective podcast. Is your dog box starting to get wore? Maybe it's starting to get a little cracked like mine is. Maybe you've just been thinking about it's time to upgrade to a new box, but you've asked your buddies and you're just not real sure what direction to go in. Well, let me help you out here. Go check my friends out at CZ Welding and Fabrication, Custom Dog Boxes and Aluminum Products on Facebook. You can check out all their custom work they do there and their designs that they do. If you don't see something that you don't exactly like there, reach out to Nathan at 540-810-5439, 540-810-5439, or send him a message through the Facebook page. I bet he can fix you up. Don't wait till fall to get that new dog box. Go ahead, get that dog box now. Get you something looking good in the back of your truck that you can be proud of and that you can haul your dog around in comfort. Check my friends out at CZ Welding and Fabrication. You won't go wrong. Dog boxes built by hunters for hunters. Get yours today. CZ Welding and Fabrication. All right, Judd. We've talked about some casts that you've been on and some winning that you've done, some dogs that you handled, how you got into handling, some of the people that you're handling dogs for. If you could go back a few years now and give yourself your younger self when you're first getting into comp hunting some advice that you think would be beneficial at this point, what would that be?
Oh, you'd have to go back and it takes a little bit to think about that, and it'd probably be just have more fun with it. Whenever I start winning, I get on a roll. That's all I want to do, just win, and it sucks to lose. So you just got to, when you win, you win. When you lose, you lose. You got to come home and correct yourself. not just come home, put them in the pen, get mad at them. I feel like a lot of people get doing that. It's not their fault. They're dogs. They're going to do what they're going to do. But I think it'd just be getting them more tuned up, and then whenever take that loss as a motivation to go get better. Getting them, make sure you're going to win next time, or at least make sure you got a shot at it, and let the dogs do what they're going to do. I mean, you can't make them do. They're going to do what they're going to do when you get there. I mean, you're not going to make them do anything else.
Yeah, I think that's some good advice there. Have fun. Correct what you done wrong. Work on the dog that you done wrong. Make it right and get it right for the next time. I think that's great sound advice there. So, what goals do you have set for yourself in life and in the coon hunting world?
Yeah, it's a lot to think about when I'm coming a senior next year, so you kind of gotta start figuring some stuff out. But I'm gonna try to go to school for lineman, so I'm sure I'll be down not hunting for a little bit when I first start, when I get a job or whatever, try to get on my own, and I'll probably quit hunting for a little bit, and then I'll come back. But everybody's goal, they want to win big. I want to I at least want to hit 100,000 before I'm out. Lifetime earnings. I think I'm sitting around 10 or 15 right now. But that's not counting any scholarships I've won. I think I got like 15, 20 in scholarships. So that'll pay for most of my schooling. But I want to win. I want to win a world championship. Everybody wants that ring. You want to say you're the best there is for at least for a while till the next year comes around. But winning the world champ, I think everybody, it's more prestigious than you can go win 90,000 one weekend, but how many? You just gotta win 3 casts to win 90. I say that, but the world champion, you gotta win night in, night out the whole way through. Everything's got to go your way. It's not just a fluke deal.
Yeah, well, I think those are great life goals, and I think the goal of winning a world championship in coon hunting, whether it be PKC, UKC, youth, or the big world championship, ACHA, whatever, I think that's the goal of every coon hunter out there that competition hunts anyway, that cares about competition hunts. You want to win, and you want to win big. I just, previously of this podcast, I'd done a podcast with Lane Denny, who's won 2, one as a youth and one as, with the big boys. So that's pretty impressive accomplishment there, and goals that we all strive to get to. So
Yeah, last fall I fell short by a quarter. It was just one of them deals, quarter from being the youth world champion. So it makes you want to get back out there next year and definitely make sure. There's nothing I could do. I just struck for 50. The kid above me struck for 75. He threw your coon, not to the coon. That's all it wrote. So especially when you're knocking on the door of it, and it really makes you want to seal the deal next time.
Yeah, well, it just makes you prepare that much harder throughout the year, and like you said earlier, go back to the drawing board, work on the stuff you need to work on the stuff that the dogs need to work on, and get you and the dog right to go back out there and perform. I think the advice you give there was just solid for any youth or any grown person out there that's wanting to get out there and push to win a world championship. I know that's my goal. I don't have a dog in my kennel right now that I think that would win a world championship, but I got some I'm working on to work that way for sure.
Yeah.
Well, Judd, we've been at it almost an hour. Not quite an hour, but we're getting close. Do you have a coon hunting story you could tell us? Funny, serious, on a cast, pleasure hunting, don't matter.
Oh, yeah. It'd been 3-4 weeks ago, really, as I think about it. We got some great big bottoms where I hunt a lot and train a lot of dogs and get them all started and rolling. But we hunt off 4-wheelers down in there, and I had some buddies with me, and we got 2 4-wheelers just absolutely buried. We couldn't get them out, and so you were sitting there scratching our heads. I'm hunting 2 or 3 dogs there's some pretty good dogs, and we're all over the country. We're miles from each other, and I think that night we ended up treeing 12 singles and had 2 4-wheelers stuck and a truck stuck. So you can imagine the phone call I was having to make to try to get somebody to get in there and try to get us pulled out. But we ended up getting them pulled out. We rolled out of them bottoms. We got there at like 9, and we rolled out of there. It was probably 6:30 in the morning. We met some duck hunters coming in, and that was that was fun. We ended up getting some big 4-wheel drive tractors to get in there and pull us out, and some jacked up Toyotas. So them nights like that where you get to spend with your buddies all night long doing whatever, getting stuck. Nobody wants to be stuck, but it makes it worthwhile when you're having a good time.
Yeah, that's for sure. I have a good buddy of mine back in Alabama. Me and him grew up together, and we spent many, many nights as teenagers in the woods coon hunting. And I don't know that I can count how many times we've had a truck stuck and had to make phone calls that we didn't want to make or walk to houses. We didn't have cell phones. We'd have to walk to a house and knock on a door back then and ask to use the phone or hitchhike to the house or whatever. So yeah,
Yeah,
those are great times.
that night actually a dog ended up getting across the river. So it was duck season, and I duck hunt quite a bit, and we had about a 6-mile boat ride, and she was just treed right on the other side. And you could see her, and I tried to call her back, whatever. She stayed treed over there for 5 hours before we got everything done, and it was cold. It was real cold, and we did a 6-mile boat ride, I think, up there to get her, and she was still treed 5, 6 hours when we got to her, and we rolled the coon out to her and went back to the house. But those nights, that's what makes coon hunting fun.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's part of it. You get out there, you have good nights, you treat 12 coons, and you get stuck, and it's a bad deal, but you're also having a good time because you're with friends and buddies, and you're just out there having a good time. And the next day, yeah, you're tired, but nothing will ever replace those memories that you have of that night. 20 years from now, you'll look back and think about that night, and it'll still be fun. It'll still be precious to you. So that's for sure. Before we wrap it up here, do you got anything else you would like to add, or anybody you'd like to thank or shout out to?
Oh shoot, I don't know. All the people around there, they just kind of help me do whatever I need to get done, and especially with coon hunting. Everybody's supportive. They let me hunt wherever, pretty much. Um, then people you gotta knock on their door at 2 in the morning, tell them something. They aren't that enthused, but the next day you'll see them. But hey, I'm sorry. They'll be like, oh, it's fine. It's just whatever. I'm just without places to hunt. You can't own enough ground to coon hunt on at all. I mean, you could, but you gotta be have a lot of ground. These dogs covering 1 mile, 2 miles before they get treed. That's it's hard. And so I just appreciate the people and the farmers around here that let me do what I can.
Yeah, and those people are probably the most important to thank for sure. Because, like you said, most of us can't buy enough ground to have a place to run a dog, but we have neighbors, and you be a neighbor to that neighbor. Help them out when you can, and let them know you appreciate them letting you hunt on there. I think that's very, very important, and the people that we truly need to be out there thanking and let them know we appreciate them, because without them, we wouldn't be able to do what we love. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, Judd, if you don't have anything else, I think we're right at knocking at an hour long here. I really appreciate you taking the time. I know you got a big night tonight, and I appreciate you taking a few minutes today to be on the podcast and share some of your winnings and some of your stories with us. And uh, maybe you can get that world championship won. We can get you back on here in the future, and we can talk some more, talk some dogs, or maybe cross paths at a comp hunt somewhere in the future. I really appreciate you taking time to do this.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me.
All right. Thank you all for joining us today on the Coonhound Collective podcast, and we're going to hit the woods. Thanks, guys, for listening to the Coonhound Collective podcast today. We really appreciate you taking your time out of your day to listen to the podcast. If you don't mind, head over to Facebook and give us a like, and head over to Instagram and give us a follow. It's both at the Coonhound Collective. Also, if you would like to reach us here at the Coonhound Collective, you can reach us at thecoonhoundcollective@gmail.com. If there's someone that you would like to hear on the podcast or a product that you would like to hear talked about, please send it to thecoonhoundcollective@gmail.com. Thanks again. Have a great day.